This is the 2020 Ladakh Jacket by Rab. Next to me is my 2019 Rab Ladakh Jacket. Now, you may have seen already the review we did of this, and it was one of our in-depth reviews, so we took it out and used it over a period of months. So I really got to know the Ladakh doing that review. I used it through autumn, through winter and into the spring. Still use it now as an easy waterproof for the hill, for town, and I think that's the real hallmark of the Ladakh design, is that it's meant to encompass as many of your outdoor activities as it could possibly do, from climbing to mountaineering to easy walks to urban use as well. It's definitely a proper full-bore outdoor jacket. So what have they changed between the 19 and the 20 version? Well, aesthetically, features wise, it's just the same. So the pockets are in the same place, pit zips, the way that they've cut the arms, the body, the hood, there has been no changes there really. What has changed, and pretty much wholeheartedly, is the fabric itself. So in the 2019 version, we've actually got a mixture of outer face fabrics. In the 2020 version, the face fabric is all the same. What does that mean in practical use? Well, if you remember my review, is that the 2019 version has two different deniers of fabric. So you've got the 70 and the 40. Now, why did they do that? Part of that was down to the fact that they wanted to reduce a little bit of noise and make the body a little bit more comfortable. And what they've done in the 2020 version is remove that different deniers of fabric and just go for the 70. And this is a move that I personally would support. If you remember at the end of the review of the 2019 version, one of the things that I did mention was that firstly, the way that the water repellency had adhered to the fabrics definitely was different. The 40 denier fabric wetted out not quickly, but compared to the 70 denier fabric, there was definitely a difference there. The other difference was that in the climbing that we did, I noticed that I had managed to scuff the front of the 40 denier fabric, where the arms, which are the 70 denier fabric, which definitely got far more abuse in the climbing that we did over in the lakes, had seemingly no damage to them at all. So I think from a durability and a water repellency perspective, the 70 denier fabric definitely takes the DWRs better, and also would appear in the use I put it to be more durable. At the end of the day, this jacket is a mountaineering jacket. Great for around town, don't get me wrong, but this is the jacket you want to be using when you are going up to Scotland in the winter, when you are going to the lakes, climbing. And what you don't want to do is see early wear in this kind of garment. This kind of garment is an investment. It's something that's going to last you for years if you look after it well. What I mean by looking after it well is washing it, reproofing it, and not abusing it. Use it, don't abuse it. Any kit you abuse, you can destroy quite quickly. That's just the nature of the game. But this jacket is definitely one of the harder wearing jackets. You can get lighter jackets. Now, this is not a heavy jacket by any stretch of the imagination. You can get lighter jackets. The jackets such as made of the lighter weight Gore-Tex materials, such as Packlite, for example, Rab have them in their range, and they are lighter jackets. But the problem with that lightness is that you lose durability. Not that they aren't still wonderfully durable for their weight, there still is a trade-off between that durability and that weight. And with the Ladakh, now I think with the 70 denier all the way throughout, you get in a extremely durable jacket. Yeah, you might argue that it's a little bit more noisy than the 40 denier, and I don't think that's particularly a massive issue, in that this is about performance, this is about looking after you in the hard mountaineering tasks you're going to be doing, and the 70 denier throughout I think will manage that better than the mix. There are other changes under the hood as well. So in the 2019 version, you've got two different types of Gore-Tex here. You've got Performance Shell and you've got Pro Shell. Okay, so what's the differences in all the Gore-Texes? That is a very difficult question to answer, and it has been for years. Why? Because Gore-Tex are not open particularly about their statistics, and I'm not 100% sure why. It's always difficult to find out what certain fabric in certain times is giving certain performances. Now, one thing that I'll say for Gore, and Gore for many years, is it is absolutely waterproof, reliably so. The last statistics I saw for performance shell was something like a 30-metre hydrostatic head, so you could build a submarine out of the stuff. It's the breathability side of things, I think, that is the real key to the Gore-Tex story, and that again is a little bit harder to find. Now, to the research that I've done myself, there is no difference in the breathability between the majority of the Gore-Tex fabrics. So the Pro Shell and the Performance Shell and the Paclite, what you won't see any difference in the breathability, and to me breathability is an absolute key statistic, and that is why it's worth getting the Gore-Tex badge, because their fabrics are exceptionally breathable in what is a very crowded hard shell market. I do think it's worth having. The other thing that I mentioned on the 2019 video, which I will still concur with, is that the breathability side of this fabric in the real world have definitely changed since I first tried Gore-Tex 20 years ago. Now, 20 years ago, Gore still seems to be a reasonably breathable fabric compared to others. I think they've upped that game considerably now, because having used some of the most breathable fabrics there are around, I think that this is now much better at removing your own body moisture than it was 10, 15, 20 years ago. So, you know, like all companies, all good companies anyway, Rab and Gore-Tex, they're always seeking to up their game, and I think Gore has certainly done that, increasing the breathability of fabrics. So this had the two different types of fabric in. This is all performance shell throughout with a 70 denier outer. What does that mean in the real world? I don't think it really means any difference in terms of performance and breathability. What the primary difference is that 70 denier fabric on the body should give you a harder wearing body. We've also moved to recycled fabric as well now, and again, Rab's trying, and most good outdoor brands are trying to reduce that environmental impact as much as they can. This year, 2020, there's been a massive push in the Rab range to go for recycled materials. We've got things like the Microlite Alpine now being 100% recycled, including the down, which is just fantastic. And this jacket again now has a large amount of recycled materials in it. There is a final change within the fabrics as well, which is in the backing material of the jacket itself. And this is the Gore-Tex C-Knit, and the story behind this is basically it's a lot softer, and the idea is that it moves really well against the garments below, and hopefully as well cuts out a bit of that noise. I've not found the 2019 Ladakh to be a particularly restrictive or non-slippy fabric on the back. There is definitely a visual difference. There's also a little bit of a handle difference as well. This is a softer feel to the fabric, but I wouldn't say the 2019 version was exactly a hard internal fabric, but that's again just that other little tweak. So the difference between the two jackets primarily is the actual fabric construction. There haven't been a massive change that you need to think, oh god, right, the 2019 is a completely different jacket. While we're on the subject of the 2019-2020 jackets, one thing that's worth mentioning is all companies do this. They change the garments from year to year, but tend to keep the same lane. So what you've got to be aware of when you're looking for a specific model is that model is the one that you want when you go to purchase that jacket. And sometimes you may find that things are on special offer. Well, they could be last year's. Now, if you find the 2019 on offer, nothing wrong with that jacket at all. 2020, yeah, they've up-spec'd a little bit, arguably, but I don't think ultimately they've reinvented this jacket over that last year. They've just changed things. I do like that change in the face fabric though. I think that's an important change, and to me, the only flaw I could really find with the 2019 version was the slight lack of durability, and you'll see there is a small amount of scratching on the main body of the jacket. I think that probably wouldn't be there if it was a 70 denier throughout. So, as I've said already, the design it has not changed. So we've got all of the features of the 2019. Worth checking out the video to check out exactly how they come into function in the outdoors. So we've got the two hand pockets, which are high enough up away from the waist area, so you can definitely use a harness and still access the pockets. Pockets are generous in size as well. We have key clip on the internal on the left hand side. We've got the generous Napoleon pocket here, get a lot in there, and not that I use this very often, you've also got the little fabric pocket here. You can put your keys in, things like that, if you so desire. So the 4 pockets, of course, good waterproof zips, YKK naturally, also 2-way zip as well. To me, that again is a hallmark of a good outdoor jacket, is a double zip. I think if you've only got a single zip on there, tending to look at a little bit more of a rambling kind of round town jacket. Cuffs again as well, not breaking any design molds here, but I do like the little extension over the top of the hand. In the hard weather we had up in Scotland, I found that a really useful little thing to keep the hands guarded, and also to stop the water from getting underneath and getting it behind the glove and wetting the glove out, which does happen anyway, certainly if you use poles or ice axes. But then again, if you can cut that down just a little bit, it's only for the good. So in summary, that's just a great outdoors jacket. It's got a lot going for it, lots of features, the reliable waterproof fabric, the fit, it's all there. Just get it, get out there and enjoy.